So as the owner of a vegan bakery, this shouldn't really surprise you, but in case you didn't know, I'm vegan. I've been vegan for almost 10 years now. And if 10 years ago Natalia could see me now, girl would not believe what was happening. I was the biggest meat eater I've ever met in my life. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I often get asked, like, why did you do it? Wasn't it too hard? I can never do it. I can never give up cheese. So I thought on today's video, I share my story. Why I decided to go vegan, what my biggest struggles were, some of the resources that helped me along the way, any regrets that I have. Spoiler alert, the only regret is that I didn't do it sooner. So let's get started. Okay, let's make ourselves comfortable here. I feel like this is story time. Got my water bottle, very dorky water bottle from Powell's City of Books. Okay, so I guess we should start from the beginning. I grew up in Brazil, and that's a very meat-heavy culture. There's a lot of steak, there's a lot of meat in everything. So I grew up eating meat and freaking loving it. If you've ever been to a Brazilian steakhouse, they pretty much bring you meat over and over and over until you say stop, and that was my favorite place to eat. I used to love it so much. At the same time, I've always loved animals. I've always had pets, and I always cared about animals. Once I went to college, I started volunteering with shelters. Just never made the connection between what was on my plate and how much I loved animals. It wasn't until I was in college that I found out about things like the fur industry. I remember doing research on that and ending up on the PETA website and finding out all these horrible things and telling other people about it and telling them what awful thing this was and that I wasn't gonna buy fur. Well, I was never gonna buy fur anyway. Who buys fur? Definitely not a college student. So, but I was not gonna wear leather and I wasn't going to buy wool anymore. But that was the extent of it. I still wasn't making the connection to what was on my plate. It wasn't until March 18th, 2011, the day that changed my life. I was on spring break from grad school. I was working on my thesis. It was a very busy time. And I decided to take a little break. I decided to watch this documentary called Fooding. I had heard that it was a good documentary, and what I thought I was gonna get out of it was that it was going to really gross me out about processed foods. That's not what happened. Watching that movie was the first time that I ever saw any slaughterhouse footage. I mean, obviously, you know your burger comes from a cow. I didn't make that connection until I actually saw the image of a cow going to slaughter. And I could see in her eyes, she didn't want to do that. She was scared and she didn't want to die. And I kept watching and crying and Googling how to go vegan. And I just knew that was it. I was not going to be a part of that anymore. No one was ever going to die so I could have a snack anymore. That moment, I'm just looking for resources. I didn't even eat that many vegetables. I start messaging all of my friends who were vegetarian or who have ever mentioned that they were vegetarian in the past, telling them, I'm doing this, can you please just give me some guidance here because I have no idea what I'm doing. I remembered when I was on the PETA website researching the fur industry, how there was a vegetarian guide for beginners, so I went on that. I kind of opened my memory palace and I just started thinking of like, who has ever told me about being vegan or vegetarian? Where have I ever heard that before? I remembered Alicia Silverstone, the actress from Clueless, had done an interview that I watched where she was talking about her book, The Kind Life. I got that book. So here's a big pitfall that a lot of vegans fall into. Everyone becomes a nutritionist as soon as you say that you're vegan. So you have that, you have the jokes, you have people not listening. I remember telling my mom about it and she was like, that's interesting, that's gonna last about a week. You are the person that eats the most meat that I know. I told my husband, who at the time was my boyfriend, he was not happy about it. He was like, you do what you gotta do, but I'm still eating meat. Don't try to change me. My closest circle were all meat eaters, and they had no idea what I was going through. The advice that my friends gave me and that I found online was very helpful. One of them was always have a snack nearby. So I would have toasted chickpeas, I would have toasted sunflower seeds all the time. Granola bars, always in my purse. If you're hungry, I don't know about you guys, but I get hangry, all good intent goes out the window. So the other really good piece of advice that I got at the time was from that website, The Kind Life. I went on that forum and I just spoke, you know, like I don't feel understood and I'm having a hard time with this. And somebody said, just stick with it. Just keep doing it. Because right now everyone is making fun of you and saying that it's a phase you're going through. The longer you stick with it, the longer they're going to see this is a lifetime commitment. And that's exactly what happened. I think it's important to be nice and kind to yourself, especially in the beginning, because it is a big change. And I think we all want to tell people that going vegan is super easy, anyone can do it, and it really is. But the transition can be a little challenging. And if I minimize that and I tell you it's the easiest thing in the world, when it's not, which it won't be, you're gonna be like, I'm just not committed enough. I just couldn't do it. I wanna be real because it takes commitment, it takes effort, and it's worth every ounce of it. And now we have to stop the video to pet the cat. So cute, Minnie. Okay, where were we? So the next chapter in the story is that I was a new vegan, everything was going well, but I still couldn't find any good desserts. And that's a story for another time because I've been talking for way too long. And so I think we're gonna save that for another video. But I hope that sharing my story has helped you in some way. If you like this video, if it helped you in any way, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you're just going vegan, if you're making that transition, if you've been vegan for a long time, I love to hear your story and what you went through, what you're going through. So I will put all the resources of the websites and the books that help me in the description below. If you have any questions, just email me, hello@curiouscatbakery.com. I'm more than happy to help you in this journey. And I will see you very soon. Stay curious. Look at that face. Oh. Yeah, whatever I'm saying is way more interesting with this cat in here. Anyways, she's a cutie cat. And all kinds of animals. And I was still not putting together that what was on my plate made any difference. And Minnie has lost interest. She's out.